Hello, third and fourth graders. I am Mrs. Lyon, and ordinarily I have been teaching fourth and fifth grade. So I'm happy to have fourth graders this year, and some of you third graders also. It's going to be a great year despite our not being, well, hopefully, maybe during the year we will lift the COVID barrier and we can meet face to face. But right now, we're going to have to put up with this camera stuff. I would like you guys, first of all, to fold your hands. We're going to have a quick opening prayer. Dear Lord in heaven, we pray for our country and for our world. This coronavirus has been very, very devastating. We pray for our families. We pray for all of our parishioners here at Emmanuel Lutheran Church that they may not come down with this virus. It's an awful thing, particularly when it comes to older people such as myself. So we do pray that the doctors find a vaccine so everyone can be vaccinated, and there will be no more coronavirus. Okay, now, we always have a current event. Then I'm going to give you a word for the day, and that has a prize coming with it. Our current event, we're going to talk about these masks that we wear. Why do we wear these masks? You can see I don't have one on, but I'm, far enough away from everything that the stuff that may come out of my nose is not going to spread anywhere else. But what it is droplets that come out of our nose, people's noses, and if other people are in close proximity, why they can get the droplets can land on them, land in their nose, and you know where they go from there? They go down to their lungs. And they attach to the sides of their lungs, and they keep growing and growing, and it's not a good thing, it's a bad thing, because then the lungs do not operate efficiently. And children generally recover from it, but we old folks, why our lungs aren't as healthy as they were when we were children. And okay, talking about our word for the day. Maybe you've heard about our contest. What I do is give you some clues. And if you're in person in class, you get a chance to say it out loud, but can't do that now. So what I'm asking you to do is listen very carefully and think about what you think the definition for the word is for this. And then you're going to email me, and my email address will be up here, and you tell me what you think the word is. And if you get it correct, I will send you a prize. I have a wonderful prize box. So here goes the word for the day. Number 1, to take up a matter again. Number 2, to change one's mind about something. And number 3, to do a task in spite of refusing to do it in the first place. I'm going to give you one little clue, and that is it starts with an R. So I'm looking forward to you guys sending me emails. Okay, our Bible story for today is found in Matthew, and Matthew is the first book in the New Testament, written by Matthew, who was a disciple of Jesus, but before he became a disciple, he was a tax collector. He was pretty smart, really. And it has to do with a man who had 2 sons. I'm going to read this to you. And there's some field work that needs to be done. So he's going to send the sons out to do the field work. Now, this made me think of when I was a child, and there were 5 of us children, and I was second oldest, and I had an older sister. And we, at least once a week, we had to go over to my grandfather's plot. He had a pretty good sized plot, and we would pick green beans. And those beans then would be sold to the canning factory. And when your mom buys a can of green beans, you know what I mean. Or nowadays, a lot of them are frozen. Well, we would go on over to grandfather's plot where now the beans were ready for picking. And Sister Greta would say, "I'm not going to pick any beans today." And she would just sit down at the end of the row and pout and cry. And I would say, "But Mother said we were supposed to pick beans today." "I don't care what Mother said. I'm not going to pick beans today." Well, okay. Let's see what our story has to say here. See if you can pick out who's Greta here and who is Mrs. Lion. My name is Nan. Okay. When he entered the temple, the chief priests and the elders of the people came to him as he was teaching and said, "By what authority are you doing these things? And who gave you this authority?" They were asking Jesus. Jesus said to them, "I will also ask you one question. If you tell me the answer, then I will tell you by what authority I do these things." The question is, did the baptism of John, as John the Baptist, come from heaven, or was it of human origin? And they argued with one another. If we say from heaven, he will say to us, of human origin, but we're afraid of the crowd, for all regard John as a prophet. So they answered Jesus, "We don't know." And he said to them, "Neither will I tell you by what authority I am doing these things." Boy, he said, "Ha ha, you guys." So, what do you think? This is a parable. Remember, a parable is not something that's true, but it's a corollary. A man had 2 sons. He went to the first and said, "Son, go and work in the vineyard today." He answered, "I will not." Who does that remind you of? But later, he changed his mind and went. The father went to the second and said to the same, and he answered, "I go, sir," but he didn't go. Which of the 2 did the will of his father? They said, "The first." Jesus said to them, "Truly, I tell you, the tax collectors and the prostitutes are going into the kingdom of heaven ahead of you. For John came to you in the way of righteousness, and you did not believe him. But the tax collectors and the prostitutes believed him, and even after you saw it, you did not change your minds and believe him." Okay. You guys, well, when you're writing to me the email, you tell me also which son it was who did the right thing. Now, homework for this week. I'd like you, and of course Jesus would like you to do these things too. Number 1, do make every effort to obey what your parents ask you to do, the chores your parents ask you to do. Number 2, remember, send me an email. You'll see my email address up with your answer for the word for the day. And number 3, next week, tune in again for our next Sunday school lesson. Bye-bye.